And I love that you say that. And there's one thing I really want to ask you, just coming from an African background, thinking about, because I was having this discussion in one of the earlier videos, and also just talking to young men, and especially in England, you see that there's a lot of angry Black men. And that's down to things like broken families, also things like just their own traumatic experience that they probably have not spoken about. In terms of young people, especially within the sort of like the Black background, how can we start to be able to strengthen, first of all, our communities, and also make it okay for people of color to start, going and approaching help and not thinking that there's something wrong with that?
I think it starts with the parents, as a child. When you see your parents talk about this and take positive actions, then also as parents, why these Black kids are like that is that we forget some of us grew up in Africa. Some of us that grew up here in the UK, it was a very traditional African home. You should also remember the way you were brought up, you can't bring your children in that same way. Society has changed, times have changed. There are things that my mom or uncles or people told me when I was growing up, things I did, some form of discipline in school. You can't do it to the kids now. Unfortunately, they're not built like that. Society has changed. Our parents, when they were growing up, they would tell you, our grandparents would tell you, oh, I walked 4 kilometers to school. They would tell you that. But when your parents were in school, they now didn't walk. They actually took a bus or they took a bicycle. So times change. You can't expect, because I walked 4 kilometers to school, my child should walk 4 kilometers to school. That when my child does something wrong, I should always bring out the cane and flog the child. Times have changed. You can't bring up your child the same way you were brought up. And every child is an individual. You could have 3 kids in the house, and if you notice, the way you talk to each and every one of them is different. When you want to met out some form of discipline, the way you give it out to each of those children is different, because they're different personalities and different approaches need to be taken in order to raise them up as adults.
Let's get a bit more personal in terms of, we can talk about physically or emotionally. When have you ever been challenged that you have really gone through like a breakdown or something that has really gotten you to the stage of, I need help?
Wow. I think on top of my head, just thinking about it once, I think I went through what I would probably say was my make or break part of my life. Apart from all the other things you go through, 2011, I think 2011 is very significant in my life because I was working in McDonald's at the time and trying to start this construction business. It's start, stop. But in McDonald's, because dealing with the home office here in the UK, I was through in limbo. So I had a very good boss at work who used to protect me, still be able to let me go to work. But it got to a point where he got moved. And when he got moved in January 2011, the new manager who now came in was not so lenient. And having a child, been looking after myself, the construction dried up. I had to let go. They had to let go of me in McDonald's. They had to tell me, well, until the home office can confirm that you can definitely work, you can do that. The mother of my child at the time told me that without a court order, you can't see my child, you can't see the child. So I went through from being able to work to going to sleep on my auntie's sofa, where you're living in someone's house, you're living in the living room, you wake up when they wake up. and you sleep when they sleep. So there were two extremes. My auntie used to wake up at 6 in the morning, and her daughter, her younger daughter, my sister, wouldn't sleep until like 11 p.m. at night. So, and you're there during the day. What do? Do you eat? You've got nothing to wake up to. I had, from being really busy to zero. I couldn't even see the one good thing that I had in my life, which is my daughter. I had to learn how, I had to now try to figure out how I can do it, do the contact, go to court to go and get the permission to be able to see my daughter. And that took like 11 months. It's
wow.
the one time that I looked at my mom, and my mom looked at, I could see the way mom was looking at me, where she could see me in so much pain, but I was helpless. She was helpless to help me. All she could see me doing was go to church every Sunday. I kneel down and I'm crying in church and praying to see how I can, even when I think about it now, I feel very like, wow, that was I think my extreme.
Wow. Okay, that's a lot. I must say, especially being a man, everyone just assumes that the man should always be the provider of the family. So you not having a job, to you living with family, to you not being able to see your daughter, must have been a lot to handle all at once. And so how did you find yourself going through and coming out of the dark side?
Wow, I think the theory of we are all crazy really helped me at that time. Because then I looked and I thought, okay, this is happening. What can I do about it? I can't do anything about it. What can I do in this moment? Nothing. I mean, you eat what you're being told to eat. I mean, we know the joke of we drink what the sponsor drinks. Literally was the case. And at the time,
you go by
go by what the sponsor is saying. So if the sponsor is saying in the house today we are only eating bread with butter, it's bread with butter. You can't question it. You just be grateful that you are able to sleep, eat, and I mean, how do I come out of it? 10 months in, prayer really helped. I've never prayed like I did at the time.
To start closing, I want to ask you, I noticed, like, when I used to ask men around their self-care routine, most of the men did not have a self-care routine. So I want to hear from you. Do you have a self-care routine? And if you do, what is it?
What I do for me sometimes,
and not the gym.
I hit the gym, but sometimes it's just little things. I could be crossing the road, and as I'm about crossing, I look and I see a car just whiz past, and I say to myself, wow, I could have been dead right now. I could have been paralyzed. And I just sit back and take a step and say, you know what? I'm healthy. I look at my kids, the joy they bring to me. I look at my wife. I look at having a family that doesn't stress me. And for me, it keeps me sane. It keeps me sane. That's apart from the gym, that's my routine. It's just thinking about what I have and say to myself, you know what, look at my son, he's 13, he doesn't give me these kind of problems. Look at what I go through to him. It's nothing, it's stress-free. Those things like that, they keep me sane. For me, it's my family that keeps me sane. Just looking at them, and I wake up each morning and I'm like, I have these people, no matter what I do, if I fail or succeed, they would love me and they'll always be there to encourage me. That's what keeps me sane.